Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. Today I want to talk tires. I have of course this is a 2024 Tacoma and probably a lot of you have seen the videos on it, but I did put the BF Goodrich KO2 tires. This is a 285 70R17 and I've kind of been given updates. During that period of time, several people have made comments that said, hey, you have the OEM tire. And I'm like, well, the Tacoma doesn't come with a BF Goodrich KO2 tire. It comes with a BF Goodrich trail terrain. And so when they talked about that, I was a little confused. And so I'll explain what they were talking about because there is a difference in the tire. First off, this is what they would consider an OEM tire, or it's a C-rated tire. Now, there's two different types. There is a C-rated tire, which you see right here, and the way you can tell the difference is they have the S pattern here in the center. The E-rated tire, which is a heavy-duty tire, is going to have what looks more similar to a Caterpillar. So, obviously the S is not as much pronounced, and if you were to see one side by side, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. If you go to Outdoor Auto, that guy does a lot of reviews on tires and he's very knowledgeable, talks about a lot of different types of tires, talks about the benefits and downfalls to each type of tire. And he does an example, or does a review on not only the C-rated tire but then also the E-rated tire. And so yes, I stand corrected. People have told me, like I said, that it is a OEM tire, and yes it is. Now let's kind of talk for a moment the difference, and I apologize about the road noise here. Let's talk for a moment the KO2s versus the KO3s. So the KO2s, what you see right here, now this is my buddy's truck. The KO2 only comes in a heavy duty tire. Now I've had this same tire on my Tundra. I had it on 2022 Tundra. I put about 30,000 miles on it. I've got approximately 8,000 miles on my Tacoma now on the KO3s. The differences that I see is that in the wet weather and then also the ice, the KO2 is a harder compound tire, and so it doesn't seem to get quite as good a traction. You'll notice the siping. So if you look at the center, you've got 3 sipings, where on this you actually have 5. And so they say that the KO3 has about 25% more siping, so it's going to be better in wet weather and then also the ice. I haven't had an opportunity to run it in the snow yet. It did just started snowing here in Oregon, and so hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll get an opportunity to get out there in the snow and give it a go and see how it feels. The other thing they talk about on the KO2s is the way the water channels. It just doesn't channel out quite as well as it does on the KO3. Now, the KO2 does have stone injectors, and that's the one downfall that I really feel like the KO3 suffers in, is that it picks up a lot of rocks. See a couple rocks stuck in the tread there, but it just doesn't seem to throw the rocks out. The other thing too is this little this bar here, I don't notice as much on the KO2, but on the heavy duty KO3 tire, this little bar here is more pronounced. And the other thing too is that out here towards the edge, the lugs are a little further apart. So they say that the E-rated tire, the heavy duty tire, is a little better in the mud than what this OEM tire would be. However, this is going to be better for all-around use if you're on a light-duty vehicle. So, for instance, if somebody was running maybe a Ranger or the Tacoma or a 4Runner or something of that nature, this C-rated tire is going to be much better and will have a much better ride than what the heavy-duty tire within either the KO2 or even the KO3. So, something to consider. Now, I want to talk for a moment about the tires that come on a Tier D off-road, and this is just a standard BF Goodrich trail terrain. Now this tire being an OEM tire, and it's funny, there's this big debate, OEM tires are better than aftermarket tires. I'm just speaking from past experience, and this is from all the Toyota vehicles from over the years, and I've been with Toyota for what, 12 years now. The OEM tires that we get typically last about 30 to 40,000 miles. And so what you see is the tread depth on this is going to be less than it would be if you were to buy the same tire at a tire store. The other thing that I've read in reviews is that people from the Pacific Northwest, they say that the Trail Train, the tire is basically worthless. They say it's not good in wet weather, it's not good in ice. I'm going to look and see if I can see here, because I have read that this Trail Train tire is actually a 3-peak snow rated tire, but I believe that the OEM tire that we get is not that case. And I don't see any markings on here anywhere that shows that it's a snowflake rated tire. So I'm going to say that that is not true on the OEM tires that we get. So there again, like I said, some people say that the OEM tire is a better tire than what you can get as an aftermarket. I think that the OEM tires are made with the manufacturer and also with Toyota to produce a tire that kind of suits the needs of the vehicle itself. So the type of tire that this person would be good for is maybe somebody who lives in a dry climate, that maybe they do go, you know, off-road slightly, but they're not in any like jagged rocks or anything like that. Maybe like loose dirt or something that would probably be okay. But there again, they're not going to be great in snow, they're not going to be great in wet weather, they're definitely not going to be very puncture resistant. Now the hybrid model comes with, I believe it has Michelin tires on it. And so I had a customer, unfortunately I don't have a hybrid model here in stock, but I had a customer that just purchased one recently, and he said he took his truck off-road. He said the second time he went off-road with it, it punctured the tire. So typically what you find is that these tires are a much lighter duty tire. If you pick it up versus like the KO2 or a KO3, it's going to be much lighter in weight. The carcass is going to be, in the sidewall, is going to be a lot flimsier on these type tires than what it would be on the KO2 or the KO3. So you get better fuel economy with these. You know, if you're not planning on going off-road, it's not that big a deal. But for somebody who is off in the woods and off in the rocks and you know, like maybe jagged rocks or something, this KO2 or a KO3 like this would be a much better suited tire for you. So hopefully that answers some questions. You know, I will say that I have noticed that with the rain, it just started raining here recently, and this has excellent traction in the rain. I had somebody stop in front of me. We're out on the highway and we're doing about 55, and it's kind of morning traffic. And then all of a sudden we come over the top of a bridge and everybody stopped. And so I locked him up, and I kind of expected to skid a little bit, but actually what happened was it seemed like it hopped one time and then come to a complete stop. And I was really impressed with how well it actually stopped in that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions, send a comment my way. Tell me what experience you've had with OEM tires. Like I said, there seems to be a huge debate, and you know, I'm not here to debate whether an OEM tire is better than an aftermarket tire, but I'm just talking about past experience. You know, as I mentioned before, the OEM tires that we get from Toyota, and I've seen this on just about every type of vehicle, whether it be Camry, RAV4, Highlander, they're all good for about 30 to 40,000 miles. The BF Goodrich Trail Train says it has a 60,000 mile warranty, and so I was talking to the service manager yesterday, and I asked him, I said, well, is the Trail Train, and I'm back up for a moment, is the OEM tires that we get from Toyota, are they lesser quality than what a regular tire would be? And he said, I'm not going to say it's a lesser quality. He said, what I can tell you from past experiences, they're all designed to run about 30 to 40,000 miles. And I made the comment to him, I said, well, you know, in that situation, you know, they're saying that they have a 60,000 mile warranty on the Trail Train that comes on the Toyotas. And he says, does it have a warranty? Yes. He says, is that something that Toyota's going to stand behind? He said, no, we didn't produce the tires. He said, that's something that you would have to get through, you know, BF Goodrich. And so I said, well, so is BF Goodrich going to warranty that? If, you know, you get 30 to 40,000 miles and the tires wore out, are they going to warranty that tire? And he said, just past experience, what I've seen is that when you have an issue with a tire like that, and let's say you're, you know, 40,000 miles and the tire's completely worn out and you want to get a replacement, he said they're going to ask for documentation showing where you rotated each time, how much pressure you've been running in it, what was the tread depth at the time, And so basically, in a matter of speaking, it just kind of made it seem like, yes, they may warranty it, but it's going to be up to them whether they warranty it to help you out, or if it's a true defect, then obviously they would take care of it. So I don't know if that helps answer any questions or not, but you know, that's just kind of what I've seen just from past history on the Toyota vehicles. The other question, and I brought this up, and I had a viewer reach out to me and tell me. So for instance, my question was, a lot of these tires, or a lot of these trucks, when they come in, the tires are overinflated. And so I asked him, I said, well, why is that? Is that just because they're setting the bead on them and you know, they just didn't let the tire or let the air back out once they sent the vehicle out? And he's like, no. He said it's designed that way for a reason. Well, the viewer made the comments that the reason they come in that way is because they fill them up, they overinflate them just to prevent them from bouncing around as much in transit. So whether it be on a rail car, you know, if it was a vehicle that was coming from Japan, you know, put on a vessel, he said they overinflate them just to prevent them from moving around. So to that viewer, if you're watching the video, I do apologize. I was misinformed, but I stand corrected. It is true that the vehicles come in, they have overinflated tires with them just to try to help in transit. So if you check your pressure and you find that, for instance, on the Tacoma, it says you're supposed to run 30 PSI and it has 40 PSI in it, then obviously you want to let the pressure out. And basically what it means is when they were doing the pre-delivery inspection, they didn't catch it and they didn't let the air back out of the tires. The one thing I will mention is that, you know, running 30 PSI on these trail trains makes a huge difference from running 40 PSI, because when I first got mine, that's the way it was, and it, man, changed the ride completely. Last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about PSI that's recommended in the tires. So Toyota recommends 30 PSI in the tires when they come from the factory on all these new Tacomas. If you go to a KO2 or a KO3, it was a little confusing in the beginning what pressure we're supposed to run. Do we run the pressure that's recommended from the manufacturer, which would be 30, or do we go up to 45, you know, which some people have said that we should run in these tires? My past experience with the KO2s on my Tundra is that when you run the 50 PSI that they recommended, it was so harsh. Every time you'd hit a bump, it just like it wanted to just jar the whole truck. And so it drastically changed the ride comfort. So what I had done is on my KO2s, I ran them down to around 45. Seemed to really kind of change the way the vehicle rode, and it seemed to do really well. And like I said, I put 30,000 miles on the tires and they seemed to wear really well. I was running 35 to 37 on these tires for a while, and it gave it a real comfortable ride. But then I reached out to BF Goodrich, and they sent me an email back saying the recommended is 45. And if you don't run 45, what will typically happen is you will start getting cupping on the side lugs out here. So be sure you run the proper PSI in there. You don't want to have issues of abnormal wear on your tires, but BF Goodrich recommends 45. If you overinflate them, what will happen is you'll see a wear pattern right here on the side. If they're underinflated, obviously you'll get wear on the outside of the tires or the lugs. So anyway, that's what BF Goodrich recommends, and you know, hopefully that will help some people that have questions about that. So thanks again for watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and go ahead and put in a comment. If you've had OEM tires and had great luck with them, put that in the comment. If you you know, feel like the tires that you typically get as an OEM tire is complete trash, put that in the comment as well. I'm sure we'd like to see that. Thanks again for watching.